Hey guys, okay, so we're going to do science in this video. So what I want you to do first is I want you to show your best drawing that you did this week. If you did one of all of our review, show your best drawing of the respiratory, the digestive, the heart, the skin, the skeleton, the brain, the neuron, and the eye. If your mom just had you to do certain ones of those, just kind of put a star on the ones that you think best and just kind of show her that so she can see which ones you kind of shined on. And then we are actually introducing, I'm going to have you, when you do, you're actually going to do the neuron assessment today, and you're going to draw the eye that we in review using the 2 ink method. But we're going to do that at the end. When I'm all finished, I'll have you do that after the video is done. But we're going to introduce the ear. The ear is our last piece of anatomy, part of anatomy, I guess I should say. And it's on page 144, and we have 13 different, let me move my camera so I can get my guide. So we have 13 different parts to the ear that we're going to study. So I'm going to start us on the kind of the right side and see if I can say all these medical terms. So let's start at the top on the right, the incus, the semicircular canals, the oval window, the auditory nerve, the cochlea, the eustachian tube, the round window, the earlobe, the auditory canal, the stapes, the eardrum, malleus, and pinna. And I think that's all of them. I think that's all 13. So this is our last part. So we're going to work on this for 2 more weeks, and then so like you'll work on this week, and then we'll assess the eye next week, and then we will assess the ear on week 14, and then hopefully be able to come together and do a dissection. And then we will be finished with that besides Blue Book. So we just have, after this week, we just have 3 more weeks. So we're getting down to it. Okay, so the ear, what we're talking about this week, and so I'm going to read out of our book, More Than Meets the Eye, and I'm going to be on page 35. So I'm going to start us. And what I want you to do while I'm reading, I want you to be practicing your ear. So you're going to be on page 144 in your guide, and you can just kind of look at the drawing of it and labeling it. And you want to make sure that you're labeling it correctly, so your spelling is correct. So let's start with the ear. And you were drawing on, you can draw on a blank piece of paper, or you can draw on notebook paper, or you can draw in your nature journal, wherever your mother would prefer you do that. The ear. Just as the eye converts photons into electrical signals that can be seen by the brain, so the ear converts sound waves into electrical signals that can be heard by the brain. No less a miracle. In some ways, the ear actually outperforms the eye. It can hear over an even wider range of sound intensity, 1 trillion times, than the range of light intensity over which the eye can see, which is 10 billion times. So it can hear sound intensity range of 1 trillion times to the 10 billion times of the eye. Wow. The eardrum, or tympanic membrane, has the same thickness as a piece of paper and is exquisitely sensitive to any vibration. Even sound waves that move the eardrum less than a diameter of a hydrogen molecule can be perceived by the brain as a sound. It is the sensitivity that makes it possible to hear a cricket chirping 1/2 mile away on a still night. The sensitivity of the hearing mechanism is very impressive. On the other hand, the energy of sound is distinctly unimpressive. In other words, the reason sound happens at all has everything to do with the sensitivity of the equipment God designed for us, and almost nothing to do with the energy of the sound wave itself. A noise loud enough to pain the ear, for example, measures a mere 0.01 watt of energy. So that is 1/100th of a watt. The faintest sound audible by the ear has a pressure of 0.0002 dyne per square centimeter. So I think that is 2/10,000ths of a dyne per square centimeter, with one dyne being equal to the push of a healthy mosquito. The sound energy generated by our speaking is likewise negligible. A person could talk continuously for 100 years and still not produce the sound energy equivalent to the heat energy needed to bring a cup of water to a boil. There's always a handful of people, however, who can bring things to a boil with just a few words, but that's something else entirely. This is the extraordinary sensitivity of the ear itself that permits hearing. The ear, not the sound, deserves all the credit. The ear has 1,000,000 moving parts. On the inner surface of the eardrum are attached the tiniest bones in the body, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, commonly known as the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. As the eardrum vibrates, the motion is transferred via these three connected bones to the cochlea and the organ of the quarti. Within the sensitive tiny organ are thousands of exquisitely sensitive hair cells. The vibration transferred to the hair cells is then converted into electrical impulse for transmission to the brain via the auditory nerve. The ear is a microphone, an acoustical amplifier, and a frequency analyzer. It is a musical instrument of sorts. If a piano has 88 keys, the organ of the quarti has over 20,000 keys. It can distinguish between 2,000 different pitches. In addition, the ear is a combination range and direction finder. First, it receives sound data in both sides, and then, by a process called the binaural summation, it makes lightning-fast calculations to inform the brain of the sound's origin. It can gauge the direction of a sound's origin based on a 0.00003. I think that there's 0.00003. There's 4 zeros and then a 3. I think that's 1/100,000th. Okay, 3/100,000ths of a second difference in its arrival from one ear to the other. And finally, the ear contains a sophisticated balance detection and writing mechanism with over 100,000 hair cells functioning as motion sensors. The ear is yet another evidence of the micro-precision of God. Yet, as with so much of life, the creature abuses the gift. The ear is increasingly assaulted by an epidemic of noise and commotion. Noise is to the ear what excessive bright lights are to the eyes. Noise, wrote Ambrose Bierce, is a stench in the ear, the chief product and authenticating sign of civilization. Leo Trotsky is said to have remarked, "Whoever wishes to have a quiet life should not have been born in the 20th century." Noise is not only toxic to the sensitive hair cells of the ear, but it is also damaging to the cardiovascular and nervous systems, as well as to the relationship with God and to others. Noises usually drown out the voice of God, maintains Gordon MacDonald. Few of us can fully appreciate the terrible conspiracy of noise that there is about us, noise that denies us the silence and solitude we need for this cultivation of the inner garden, said Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Regular times of quiet are absolutely necessary. After a time of quiet, we meet others in a different and fresh way. Silence is the simple stillness of the individual under the Word of God, he also said. Considering the developing fetus, by 3 weeks, the ears begin to form, and by 16 weeks, babies react to sound. By 28 weeks, they register an increased heart rate in response to their mother's voice, and as newborns, they are able to recognize their mother's when she speaks. A simple question: as his children, do we recognize our Father's voice? He gave us ears. Do we hear? And like the song says, softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. So again, just the ear is just another fascinating part that we just kind of overlook. You know, we hear and we just kind of take it for granted. All the tiny, tiny components of magnificence that is contained in our ear. Okay, so you are going to draw the ear this week and review the eye. So that, keep that in there. And then try to get some of you review with the respiratory and the digestive system. Don't forget those, the heart, the skin, the skeleton, and then the brain and the neuron. Do some review on those so you don't lose that info. Work on your definitions of those, try to remember those. And then that will be, I kind of have a suggested schedule with your mom can see in the email that I send. And then what I want you to do now is I want you, when the video is over, you're going to get a blank piece of paper and you're going to do the eye. Now this is not your assessment of the eye. You're going to do your eye on the 2-ink method first. You're going to draw as much as you can in one color or pencil, whichever one you want, and as much as you can remember. And if you remember all of it, great. And then you're going to get your key out in the back of your guide, get another color of ink, and correct anything that you might have missed. And if you missed 0, great, put miss 0 in a big smiley face. And then after you finish your 2-ink method with your eye, I want you to put everything away. Put your guide away, get a blank piece of paper out that your mom wants you to do your assessment on, and you're going to take your assessment on the neuron. Okay, and that is with everything away. That is all from memory at that point in time. And then however your mom, if you turn that into her and she can grade it, or she has you check that with red pen or with whatever. So that's what you're going to do after the video's over. You're going to do your eye with a 2-ink method, so you know what to, you know, kind of fine tune this week when you're finishing the eye, and then take your neuron assessment. Okay? I think that's it. I'll see you in the next video.